Hello and welcome to the MRO show presented by Chadwell Supply. I'm your host, Adam Porter. Chadwell Supply is 100% dedicated to the multifamily industry. Your order is on our truck delivered the next day. Learn more at chadwellsupply.com. Hello and welcome to the MRO show presented by Chadwell Supply. I'm your host, Adam Porter. Chadwell Supply is 100% dedicated to the multifamily industry. Your order is on our truck delivered the next day. Learn more at chadwellsupply.com. Today on the MRO show, we're going to be talking to Gunnar Rastenburg, who is absolutely killing it, taking care of customers up in our Midwest region. Gunnar, how you doing, man?
Good. Glad to be here, Adam. Appreciate it.
I'm really excited to talk with you. The first time I ever heard your name or saw your face was somebody shared, we were talking before the camera started rolling, somebody shot me an email and said, this is somebody to watch, you need to check this out. And then the next time I heard you, you were Supplier Professional of the Year at GIA's Pinnacle Banquet. And I see this photo of you and Jamie Akers and Josh Costello standing together. And you have this expression on your face like, super grateful, but a little bit in disbelief. And I thought, man, this is a guy who obviously is doing a great job, but also has some humility about him. And I want to talk to him about his perspective on the multifamily industry and what it's taken you to be successful and so successful so quickly. So Josh, welcome to the MRO show, first of all.
Thank you. Yeah.
And what were you feeling in that moment when your name was called?
Yeah. I knew I was nominated, so I knew there was potential. I almost just embarrassed when my name was called. I don't like recognition, good or bad. Getting called out, it makes me uncomfortable. But sitting there and then hearing my name and realizing like the last year was so like rewarding. There was so much work that was put in, and it came to fruition. Just being recognized in that way, and that was. Yeah, super rewarding. Super grateful for that.
And I know you guys have a pretty phenomenal team up there in the Midwest. You guys look out for each other. And you're out of the Des Moines region? You're in that area?
Yeah, out of Des Moines. So I've been living in Iowa now for about 3 years, but opened the market in December of 2024. So we've been there for 13 months now. 13
months. And in that time, you've seen a lot of success. What are some of the things you're doing that have allowed you to enjoy that success?
Yeah. My biggest thing, something I've been looking for, is a job where I am able to spend time with people. When I was younger in those like college years and after, I have always looked for a customer service job and people thought I was crazy. They're like, why would you do that to yourself? And I enjoy myself in those positions. I love talking to people, love helping them with their problems that they have. And that's why I really am excited to be in this job. So that led to my success for this last year was the fact that I just want to help people in a genuine way.
So you want to help, you're diligent, you're hardworking. It sounds like you share some of the same core values that Chadwell Supply does.
It sounds like it. I try to.
Yeah. What is it, how did you come across this opportunity and what was it about the opportunity with Chadwell Supply that made it a good one for you?
Yeah. So I'm scrolling through Indeed. I'm looking for a career change, something to just take over where we were at in our family position. And this job scrolled by on Indeed. And I looked at it and I was like, I've never heard of this company. I don't know anything about multifamily. At the time I'm selling fuel. So I'm on the farm every day. I'm like, I don't know this business. And I kept scrolling. And John Daniel said the other day that we are sent. We're not necessarily drawn. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what it was. I scrolled back up to that job listing and I applied. And here we are. So yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what it entailed. And I felt sent to this job.
What do you think it was about the position that kind of drew you in and created that feeling inside you?
Being able to be with people face to face every day, having a new situation every day that I was kind of in control of. When I was being hired, Josh Costello, my regional, was basically, look, you're in Des Moines. This is your market. Run it how you see fit. And if you're doing the right things, we're just going to let you go.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really appealing to me is, hey, we trust you and we are hiring you for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And that was huge.
So trust, but also some accountability, a little bit of combination of both.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then encouragement too. I know I've had the opportunity to talk to Josh a few times. Jamie and I have had several great conversations, and I think the world of her. And I know that team up there really, you guys look out for each other. You take care of each other.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is Chadwell through and through. I didn't understand it during the interview process. Josh was saying this family, and I'm like, I've heard that before at other companies, and you're like, you hear it,
Yeah. It sounds like such a code for, man, this is not what they're saying it's going to be.
Yes, for sure.
But have you found that experience at Chadwell?
I have. It has been just incredible to be here. I hear it in passing all the time. I heard it just about 15 minutes ago. Somebody was talking about there is no other place that you can find this here. I've been looking for a company like Chadwell for 10 years, and it finally came out.
And when you joined on, what are some of the things that you've learned since coming on board?
The biggest things for me, just dealing with people in a different way. And I don't say dealing in a bad way. I just mean learning people as a whole. Everybody's different. Our personalities are different. You're going to interact with me differently than I interact with you. And that's been really good. I can piece together from customer A and customer B and then customer C. I'm taking pieces of those and working it in. And just really getting to know people.
As you're getting to know those customers, what are some of the things that they're saying to you? Questions, concerns they're asking, the things that they're talking about? What are you hearing out there talking to multifamily customers?
The biggest thing is you have the same products. You have what we need. How soon is it going to be here? That is our pain point, and not our pain point is in Chadwell, but as a customer, that's one of the first things I get. And I love throwing out the number 97.9% of the time, we're getting your order to you next day in full. And for the last year, I have been able to trust that number, and my customers have been able to trust that number and really just take away that pain point from them. And that's why a lot of business has moved over to Chadwell Supply. Let's
back up and go back over that again, because it's not just the next day, but you that fill rate of nearly 98%, that's company wide. That's huge. That's that first delivery from that order. You're going to get 98 out of the 100 things that you wanted. It's going to be there for you. That's huge, because I know when I was doing maintenance work, when I was doing remodeling work, renter work, if there was something needed to get done, the patience for that resident was not long. Wasn't a lot of long tail on getting that done. They wanted it done as soon as possible. Otherwise, they weren't happy, and they were going to let you know about it. So if I'm out there and I've got a stack of orders, this big, a foot tall, and it's all going to get done, and the one's going to come after the next one, after the next one, after the next one. If I know what I need is going to be there, I'm in a lot better frame of mind, and then I can go back to that resident and say, listen, we've got this in. I can get this done by this time. Versus, well, we're still waiting on part X. They don't care. They don't want to hear it. They just want it done. Their washer's not working. Their air conditioner's out. Their furnace isn't heating. Fix it now. So when you're able to come out and say, yes, we're going to, with confidence, I know that I'm going to get you that product. What has been the response from your customers?
No, you're not. And I say that in such a tone of, I've heard it so many times.
Yeah.
When you get they ask, when can I expect this? And my answer is, I kind of chuckle and I'm tomorrow. And they're like, are you serious? I'm like, absolutely.
Yeah.
We can tell you tomorrow. And the response from that is like, oh, okay. Well, yeah, absolutely. Get it here tomorrow. And generally what happens is that next day, hey, how about tomorrow? Do you think you can get something to me tomorrow? And I've had that so many times where on that first delivery, they realize it comes in neatly packed in a box, which is huge. And they see those details, and it's, well, I do need a couple other things that would be nice for it to be here tomorrow. And I get a lot of second time orders in that second day.
That is care on every level. That's whoever picked the ticket, whoever packed the box, whoever delivered the product, all of those people doing it with care, as if it was their own product for their own home. And I think that's reflected in so many different areas where Chadwell Supply is. That really is the Chadwell Supply difference. We call it an unforgettable service. And I'd say, as a word guy, I get really pedantic about the meaning of things, right? I want to know and understand what that word means and how it affects me and what you think it means and how it affects you. So when I came into Chadwell Supply and they said, well, here's the Chadwell Supply differences. We have next day delivery. We have local inventory, local delivery. We have third-party platform help if you need it. So if you're out there using a program to help you with your inventory management, that kind of thing, we can help you with that. And we also have this unforgettable service. So I'm like the kid in the back. I had to raise my hand. What's an unforgettable service mean? And so I've made it kind of a passion project as I've been here, better part of 3 years now, to ask Gunnar, what does unforgettable service mean to you?
Yeah, great question. When I first heard that, I didn't know what that meant to me. And through the last year, the biggest thing that I have tried to do to create that unforgettable service has been intentionality. And that word for me has been prevalent in my life for the last 7 years now. But when I focus on that intentionality, there's several things that happens. One, when I'm talking to that customer, I'm no longer talking to customer. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to Adam, the person. And the intentionality is, I'm going into this shop. I want to talk to you. I want to get to know you, and not for well, if I get to know you and I get to know your family, then I kind of get a couple more sales in there.
There's an angle in there, right? Yeah.
I genuinely love getting to know people. And like, this is strange, but my favorite part of Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy is the introduction part. Just because I get that little snippet of somebody's life outside of like what's going on right here. And intentionality also helps me with having that mentality when I'm going into a shop of not just checking a box to talk to Adam today, see how things are going, but having a conversation ready to go so that I'm able to talk to you about a specific purpose or a specific project that I see that you guys are working on, and being prepared with that conversation. Because otherwise you just kind of, you can waste time.
How does that intentionality help you be successful at what you're trying to do?
Yeah, I come prepared with questions. I come prepared to have a conversation that is geared towards benefiting the customer. I don't necessarily look at how can this sale benefit me. I am there to help you. I'm there to help your management company, because at the end of the day, the efficiency side of thing leads to dollars. And if I can't do that, if I'm messing up orders or I'm not listening to what you're saying, I mean, everything else goes out the window, 97.9% of the time isn't going to happen because I'm ordering the wrong stuff.
Right.
And that's something that we really try to focus on, is keeping everything efficient and accurate.
Be focused. I like you talked about being intentional, being present in the conversation. I love that, Gunnar, because it's something that you mentioned the little parts in Jeopardy. I love writing bios for people. It's something that it's kind of a little niche skill set that I developed, and it's really a passion project. I like having conversations and finding out kind of what this person is interested in, what they like, what they do, and then distilling that down into a way where you can it's a quick sketch, but you can get to know somebody very quickly, just in a few short sentences, who they are and what's valuable to them. Somebody asked me one time, like, why did that become like a thing that you like to do? Why did it become something you got good at? I got good at it because I love doing it. So I started doing a lot of it, but it really boils down to that curiosity, the genuine curiosity to get to know people. It's one of the reasons why I love doing the MRO show.
Yeah.
So I get to, and I was talking to Michael Stewart earlier. He says, you get to talk all the time. That's what you do for a living. I mean, and that's a lot of it, but it's not just the talking, it's the conversation. It's the opportunity to get to know Gunnar a little bit and have you share some stuff with me that's invaluable for the folks who are listening to the conversation. I guarantee you there's people out there right now that if they were honest with themselves and said, I could be a little bit more intentional. I could be a little bit more intentional. And they got that from you because we had a chance to have that conversation. I'll be thinking about that. We're going to be packing up, heading out. We're ending our conference. We're here at the one conference. It's ending tomorrow. This conference is ending tonight, but for us, the work ends tomorrow. We pack the truck up, head back to Tampa. What am I going to be intentional about? Well, the first thing I'm going to be intentional about is taking a nap, probably. But when you think about being intentional, how are you intentional in your process? You talked about being prepared. Is there anything that you do kind of on a daily basis that helps you be intentional and be more focused and be more present?
Yeah, there's a couple of different things that we do. From day 2, because we had to do the whole paperwork thing on day 1. My regional started explaining a tool that we use, Badger, with mapping and keeping notes on our customers and whatnot. And that is super handy if you use it.
If you use
it. And what I use that for is my number one thing is I'm walking into a new customer that I haven't met yet. What is your name? Because for me, if somebody walks up to me that I haven't seen in a while or that I've talked to several times and they keep saying, hey, man, hey.
What's up,
and
pal?
It's like,
how you doing, buddy?
I do have a name.
Yeah.
And people love to hear their name, especially from somebody coming in that they might not see frequently. And so that helps me with intentionality because I can look back and say, you know what? Michael's working here at the front desk. He's leasing. And then I know that Melissa's back here in the back office. She's the property manager. And that's a big deal to people. And so that's something that intentionality wise, I really try to know names. And that sales tool of Badger helps me out a ton. And going along with Badger, we can take those accounts and set them up for what days and what weeks that we want to see those customers, organize them so that we run an efficient route through our territories and whatnot. So there's intentionality with there too, just having a plan. And then just checking back in notes and saying like, you know what, last time I talked about blinds, what did I find out? I found out that they don't actually have 2-inch blinds. They have 1-inch mini blinds. So why would I suggest 2-inch blinds, that we have on sale right now for this month? Why another thing that I do is, I'll back up a little bit. The reason I do this is because I walked into an office one time, handed out our flyers, and one of them's a pool flyer. And they looked at this, they're like, I don't have a pool. I'm like,
And maybe that's a sore spot for them. You don't know.
Yeah. And so they handed it back to me. They're like, I'm not going to use this. Keep it. And I'm like, well, how could I like have avoided that? Well, all I have to do is pull up my Apple Maps there, turn it on satellite. Oh, okay. There's a pool right here. Or there is no pool on this block. I know that they don't have a pool. I'll take the flyer in with me just in case they ask some questions maybe. But for the most part, if I notice that they're not having a pool, I'm not necessarily going to, hey, here's a pool flyer that you're not going to use. Because that's more clutter on their desk. And clutter for me leads to stress a lot of times. And I'm trying to alleviate that.
So a little bit of preparation creates the opportunity for more connection. And you avoid a speed bump, sounds like.
Absolutely.
So when you're thinking about building those relationships, after you've made that first impression, you've gone and you've had those conversations, is there anything that you're asking once the relationship is built to help grow that relationship?
Yeah, the follow-up side of things. So when that first order gets delivered, Adam, how was that first delivery for you? What did you not like about it? Did we deliver it to the right place? Did we come to your office first? Did we give you a call first? Hopefully not, but did we leave that outside on the front porch if we couldn't catch you? And just those little things of, I feel the care, I feel the love from Gunnar. That's what I want my customers to know is that right there.
It's such a powerful question. What could we be doing better? How could that have gone better for you? How often are they getting that question? Particularly in that context, when you're doing a follow-up, okay, we've done the thing you needed us to do. What else do you want us to do? Is usually the follow-up question, not how did you feel about that? How could we do it better? It's such a powerful thing. Last June at NAA, we had the opportunity to interview a bunch of different testimonials, several of them Jamie's customers from the Midwest. And I asked them all, they thought they were coming to sing our praises. Because it's a customer testimonial, and they, in their head, this is what they get. And yes, I did ask them, what do you love about Chadwell Supply? Because of course we want to capture that. But then the very next question is, How could we be doing it better? How could we be helping you more? What are we missing? And just that blunt, ask that question. It was so refreshing to see the expression, kind of the change of expression on the faces. And it was almost universal. Everybody started to say something and stopped and thought about it. Started to say something and stopped and thought about it. And really kind of sat back and you just kind of marinated in that question a little bit, because you don't expect it in that context. We did a thing for you. How unhappy were you about that? Is not what you normally hear.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's something where, for me, getting in the shop, after I'm comfortable enough and know, like, okay, this is where the shop's at. They leave the door unlocked, walking in. And you kind of see things, like they order from here, they order from there. Oh, that says Chadwell Supply right there. Mm-hmm. I walked into a shop one time and I looked up on the shelf and I saw some of the gutters that come off the building, whatnot. And I'm like, I know we ordered some of those gutters, but that's not what we ordered. And Daniel came in and I said, Daniel, what are those up there? And he's like, well, those are the gutters that you ordered for me. I'm like, well, they're not the right gutters, And he's like, yeah, I know, but I just didn't want to bother you with it. I'm like, Daniel, I want you to tell me, I want to know like what we're doing right, what we're not, because that's where that trust is built, is on the not side. When we're not holding up our side of the bargain, we can fix that, and then we can garner that relationship.
Give me the chance to live up to my standard. Yeah. And if my standard is to make sure that you get what you want. I love that. That's another tidbit. So be intentional, and then ask where we can do better, and then back it up. Even if they don't ask, bring it up. Look for ways to do better. I love that, Gunnar. That's a really cool, like 1-2 punch for being successful. How have you enjoyed the last 13 months working with Chadwell Supply?
So good. I get asked that coming back here, meeting people from last conference, and I want to have this grand answer. I really do. And I don't, because I can't explain Chadwell. There's a lot of things that had to fall into place for me to be here in the first place. And looking back at that adds to just my appreciation for this company.
Share a little bit about that. I know you'd alluded to that before we were talking off camera. Share a little bit about kind of how did you end up here? What had to fall into place for you to be part of this team?
Yeah. So, real quick, I was stopped in the trade show yesterday by Roland Barlow. He's one of our chaplains, and he started just asking basic questions. He asked me what my story on Chadwell was, and emotionally, that just kind of took over, and I started crying right there because it means a lot. So I'll try to hold it together. So in March of 2024, my wife was reading books, looking at listening to some podcasts, and she felt really called to stay at home with our boys. At the time, she was, I think, 4 months pregnant with our second. And so at the time, I'm delivering fuel. My wife was an occupational therapist. She has a great job. And so on a Friday, she's like, I am so convicted to stay home. She didn't say anything to me. Past Sunday, we go into church. Our message is on putting your faith in Christ and taking that first step of faith.
And meanwhile, you're thinking, man, this is going to be tough not to have that salary.
Well, at this time, I don't even know that she's like really convicted on this. And so she's over here crying. I'm like, it's just Sunday morning. Like I'm like, we're fine. And I'm like, yeah, it's a good message. But I didn't know that side of it yet. And she sat me down that afternoon. She was like, I think I should be at home. I'm like, yeah, at home doing what? Like we need some like money here.
Right. Yeah.
And honestly, the first 2 weeks, I was like, there's no way. Like we just can't do it.
Yeah. Numbers are hard.
Yes.
Yeah. And and I said, when I was talking to my boys the other day about that, I told one of the kids, math is immutable. The numbers are what the numbers are.
Yeah.
And he just kind of looked at me and was like, man, I don't like doing this process. I'm like, if you don't do the process, you're going to get the wrong answer. If you do the process, you're going to get the right answer. Yeah, but you don't like the process. Like, man, the numbers are what the numbers are.
Yeah.
So that's where you are, Gunnar. The numbers are what the numbers are. But then you have, the love of your life, your wife, your other half, telling you, this is my heart and this is where it's coming from.
Yeah.
How did you move on from that?
Yeah. That next 3 weeks after Paige told me, until I had a change of heart, was a lot of prayer. And I'm like, God, like I want to do this. I think this would be great, but it doesn't make sense. So about 3 weeks, I'm like, okay, we're taking that step. We're going to do this. And, we started running through the numbers. And at the time I thought I needed or wanted a job or picking up a second job that would supplement an extra $15,000 a year. So long story short, I live in a farming community. One of the businesses in my town of 152 people is a meat locker. And I knew the owner and I said, CJ, I need a little bit of help here. I need something to get me by.
Do some nights and weekends.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just several hours a week. I've got the schedule for it. Set me up, working a couple hours, pressure washing pork fat off of the floor and vinyl walls.
Scintillating, hard, just fun stuff.
Yeah. Just enjoyable through and through. And that first day, I had a poor attitude about it. My pride was hurt.
Yeah.
And that's not where I wanted to be. And the next day, I went back and I had a little come to Jesus talk with myself. Yeah. And this is where I'm supposed to be for whatever reason. I don't know. And so I'm working my full-time job. I'm coming here after work and I'm doing this work that is not fun. And back to that intentionality of trying to have a positive attitude. And I wasn't perfect about it, but I went in with an intentional thought of, I'm here for a reason and I'll figure it out later. But right now I don't get it.
Right.
So I go through the summer.
I'm going to try to be grateful, but I'm really trying.
Yeah.
So you're in the summer.
So I'm in the summer. And our boy's born in August, and we get to October. And so now it all comes back to Indeed. And I'm scrolling through apply. I don't really think much of it. I don't know much about this company. MRO as a total multifamily. 2 weeks later.
What in the world is MRO? Ask a lot of people in multifamily. They don't know what that means.
Yes, absolutely. And 2 weeks later, I get a phone call from HR and go through that pre-interview, set up a phone call with Josh. So we're on Teams. I'm in Des Moines. He's based out of St. Louis. So Teams. And we're going through the interview and I ask him like, hey, what's like why or how soon are you looking to hire somebody for this position? Josh is like, well, I'm going to be honest with you. I had somebody hired in Des Moines.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, oh.
Opportunity gone, hope gone,
yeah,
emotion sunk. I guess I'm be doing some meat packing.
Yeah. And he goes on to explain, he was like, the day before this guy was supposed to start, he called me and was like, I can't. I've got some issues like that came up. I can't start. And so Josh at this point is like, okay, now I got to start over from square one and redo the hiring process. So anyways, by the end of that conversation that was scheduled for 30 minutes, it turned into an hour and 15. And he said, I would love to fly up there with my, with Ken Fritchie. Yeah. And I would love to do some in-person interviews. I know that I want you there.
Oh, wow.
And 2 weeks later, so that was on a Friday, it was October 25th. The reason that's important, and I'm not big into like looking back at numbers, but exactly a year before on October 25th, I told my previous manager, I said, hey, just so you know, if I'm not promoted within a year, I will not be in this position just because I don't feel like I'm called to this position. Yeah. And so that was really interesting to look back and be like, oh, that's interesting. Just a year to the date, I had that talk with Josh. So they flew up 2 weeks later, had a great conversation for about 2 hours. And, we're going through like in-depth details of like what Badger is, like what, like in-depth, like day to day, how all that works. And it's kind of going over my head that they're super interested. And one thing that stuck out to me, and this has been so prevalent through and through with the Chadwell family, is they asked, because we're going to have training in 2 weeks down in Florida. My wife just gave birth to our son 4 months ago at this point. 3 months ago at this point. We have a 2-year-old at this point who is an absolute tornado in the house. And
I had one of those too.
And Ken said, whoever we hire in this position, we have a sales class in Florida in like 2.5 weeks from today. Is Paige going to be covered? Like, does she have family close by? Does she have support when you're gone for a week? And I'm like, yeah, like she's covered. That's why we moved to Iowa, is because family. And I didn't register that at the time. You know, so we get to the end of the interview and they said, we'll let you know by Friday what our decision is. So I live an hour outside of the Des Moines market. I drive home, kind of decompress. And I texted Paige before I left, like, I'm 90% sure they're going to offer this job, but I'm going to be really disappointed if they're not. So I get home and I'm talking to Paige for 5 minutes. I get a call from Josh. And he said, Gunnar, we couldn't wait to offer you. We wanted to do it today. And so bringing it back to that supplemental income of the $15,000, Josh was explaining like what it's going to look like, especially after like that first year, and kind of how they have salary set up. And he said, this is going to be your end number. And when you subtract $15,000 from that number, you're like $460 under what my previous salary was. And not that money's everything, because it's not, and people can put it on a pedestal.
But you need money for stuff.
But we need money to feed those boys.
Yes.
And I need money to feed my family and keep a roof over their head, you know. And it was just things lined up after lining up. And it was this continuous process for us that it just fell into place. And at that moment, when I got that phone call from Josh, I am home. I know where I'm supposed to be. Wow. And for Paige and I, it's an incredible story. We've been learning a ton the last 2 years of where our faith is and why our faith is there. And it's just, we're super excited that Chadwell gave an opportunity to someone without sales experience and without that background, but has the attitude and the relationship building skills and desire. And that's what we were looking for.
I was talking to Nicole Curl with Chad a month or so ago. And Nicole and I see things a lot the same way, where it's almost, we almost annoy each other with our personality similarities. I love her to death. She's really dynamic. She said something the other. She said, you higher attitude, you train skill. Higher attitude, you train skill. And I believe that wholeheartedly. And, Josh and Ken know what they're doing.
Yeah.
These guys really know what they're doing. They understand their market. They understand this business. And they saw something in you that was worth investing in. Skill set or none, you had the right attitude. Also willing to sacrifice for your family. There's a lot of people out there. I guarantee you there's people out there right now listening to this podcast who are doing something that's hard. They've made some sacrifices for, and they're trying to have a good attitude. And they're trying to show up with their whole self and be present and be grateful and be gracious where they are. Serve as hard as they can, get where they are, where they're at. But you made a very intentional choice. And as somebody who's been in a similar position, who'd had a very, I'm going to be honest with you, almost identical conversation with my wife 16 years ago. My middle son turned 16 in August.
Okay.
And when we got pregnant after 9 years of trying, I have an older boy who's now in Alaska at the request of the government, very cold at the moment.
Yep.
He and his wife are there. He's in the Army. And we didn't know we were going to have other kids. And she got pregnant.
Okay.
And she came to me and she said, I've been working really hard. And the only thing I've ever wanted is to be able to stay home with my kids. And I got to do that to a point with our oldest boy, and then I couldn't. And I didn't have that after a while. What can we do to make that happen? And I said, I don't know, let's figure it out. And lost my job. And I was just like, I don't have any idea what I'm going to do, but I'm going to show up for every opportunity with a good attitude and have faith that this is going to work out because I want to give this to my family.
Yeah.
Because I knew that my wife, not only would this be a gift for her, she would be a gift for my children. And if you had asked me 17 years ago when I had begun to experience this, what was it going to be like? I don't know. I don't know how we were going to get through it. I don't know what's going to happen, but let me encourage you, Gunnar, that that boy will be a senior in high school this August. He's flourishing. His little brother came on 2 years later. So I had the 2-year-old terror and the baby on the way. And she homeschooled those kids for 10 years. Mm. We traveled together as a family. I was a travel writer. That's what I got. That's the opportunity that came to me a year in. I don't know what I'm going to do. Mm. I'm going to take every job that I can, try to make it work. I found myself surrounded by people that were looking out for me, that were interested in investing in me. And all they asked for me to do was to show up, give my best, give my all, have a good attitude, and be willing to serve and work hard. And all these things that we talk about as core values here at Chadwell Supply, we're willing to do this.
Yes.
We'll flourish. And here's the punchline for all that to say this, Gunnar. To this day, about once a month, my wife will just kind of look at me and say, that's the greatest gift you've ever given to me. Mm. She's back to work now. We got 16 and 14-year-old kids. Sure. They're doing their own thing. Those 10 years, she said, that decade with my boys is the greatest gift anybody could have ever given me. Yeah. It's all I ever wanted. And so I want to encourage you, continue to embrace opportunity, possibility. Mm-hmm. I mean, look where it got you. Supplier Professional of the Year, Gunnar. You're killing it.
Yeah, thank you, Adam.
If I had told you, if I'd come up to you when you're out there cleaning that meat, nights and weekends, said, man, you're one decision away from a life you couldn't imagine, what would you have said?
I don't see it. It doesn't make sense. Right. It just wouldn't have computed in my little pea brain at the time.
Does it make sense now?
It does. Yeah.
Comes together, doesn't it?
It does. Like a puzzle that was made to fit together. It just made so much sense. And you look back at the years and it's this goes wrong and this goes right and this goes wrong and this goes wrong and this goes wrong. But then everything fits together and here we are all for, this is the path that I'm supposed to be on. Mm-hmm. I am sent to this moment. This is God's will for my life. And it's super cool to look back and just see those puzzle pieces and how they interact with each other.
It is. And when it all comes together and you can see it and you realize when I have the right attitude, I'm in the right place, I'm building the right relationships, the opportunities will come. Gunnar, thank you so much for reminding us to come wherever it is we're coming to with a good attitude, to show up with our whole heart and do our absolute best and watch things fall into place for us. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
And thank you for listening to this episode of the MRO Show presented by Chadwell Supply. If you like what you heard here and you were encouraged by what Gunnar had to say, please take a moment, rate us 5 stars on your favorite podcast service. And for more MRO Show, check out chadwellsupply.com/podcast.